Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. You've reached the Fanaddicts of Film, and this is Blasterpiece Theater. My name is Ben, and I've got my friend Alex here with me today.
My name is Alex, and how you doing, YouTubers?
And hey, thanks so much for joining us. We're just, going over the news. Some of the things that have been happening in Star Wars. Once again on this channel, we're trying to stay optimistic. And one of the cool things that we found here is that we have differing opinions, but we can still come together as Star Wars fans. And that's like in my personal opinion, one of the more interesting things that happen here is that we have different opinions and we can still come together and be friends about things, and still disagree, and still love Star Wars the same, but still disagree on some certain things. Like, for instance, I'm actually going to still boycott Solo: A Star Wars Story.
And I have a really good feeling about this. Well, I would prefer if it was I have a good feeling about the whole really in the trailer. Either way, I'm excited. Everything is looking good. Like,
it does look good.
I'm stoked. It's looking good, but this last trailer came out. I didn't see much of it. Ben was saying he was seeing it between the "stop flirting" comment between the droid.
Yeah,
was that?
Yeah, well, it's kind of ridiculous and silly. Sorry, we're going to talk about it briefly. It is one of those ridiculous things where, taken out of context, and it's a jab. It's just a fun jab, and that's all they're doing. The droid is kind of teasing them for they're probably arguing over something, or maybe whatever.
So what are people saying?
So it's just okay. So this brand new TV spot that came out, just I think it was like today or yesterday. The droid just says stop flirting, or something about flirting to Han and Lando both. And people are wanting them to have a bisexual relationship, which is I guess okay.
But Han, Lando, bisexual, I don't think so. Lando always had the vibe of being a player.
Yeah, that's
a
the thing.
Player. Even Han was like, "What are you doing, you old gambler?" And it's like he's the head of Bespin, and he's, yeah.
It is one of those things that we've always known. People loved Lando for his, he brought levity to it. He brought levity to Empire Strikes Back, and that's the thing. He brought some levity to it, and quite honestly, like, if people want that, that's fine. But it's something where you're kind of changing, once again, retconning. You're changing characters. It's unnecessary. Don't need it. We don't need them to have a bisexual relationship. Although I guess we'd be fine with it, but we don't need it. So.
And it's not that I wouldn't be down for it in Star Wars, just not those two characters.
Yeah.
Maybe
exactly.
Chewbacca has a bisexual relationship with the blue titty monster. Like, maybe we see that.
Star Wars is for everybody, though. I think that's the most important thing to recognize here. And so I'm sure that everyone would be fine with it. It would be a little odd seeing that happen. So Paul Bettany and this Mandalorian shot, that's kind of an interesting thing. Of course, as we can see, it's not Boba Fett, but it's just great to have Mandalorian armor in there because Mandalorian armor is so cool.
Right. So there's been one thing with this movie in particular that is kind of throwing off the Star Wars vibe is, and in a lot of the Star Wars movies, most all of them, the actors have been nobodies. Like, granted, the original had Alex Guinness, Peter Cushing, there was a couple others, I think. I don't know the older actors, but a lot of the actors have been nobodies. And in these movies, we have Woody Harrelson, we have Paul Bettany, Krennic, I forgot that actor's name. We have multiple bigger actors, but it's looking good. He's looking good as Dryden Voss. He looks like an evil dude. Woody is feeling a lot more Star Warsy and some of the more dialogue he's been talking about.
Wasn't it you that were just saying that Dryden Voss is much more of a Star Wars name than Scissor Punch?
Yeah, Dryden Voss. It sounds there's been another Voss character in the Star Wars universe. And then in the new movies, we started out pretty good, but then The Last Jedi, we have a few really known actors. In Solo, we have a few Rogue One, ever since Disney's taken over, it feels like they're trying to make it a princess story. They're trying to make it, and the moment that I see Princess Leia next to Ariel and Jasmine and Belle, oh my gosh, I'm gonna throw up.
That does remind me of the time where they were trying to make Princess Leia a Disney princess. I don't know if you heard that. Well, someone put, because everybody was putting petitions out. There was like a moment where petition this, petition that, petition this, and so I mean, not that that's not happening now, because it is happening all the time now. But at that point there was one guy who was like literally trying to convince Disney to make Leia a Disney princess.
And again, it's not even that I don't like Disney princesses. Like,
it's just a different thing. It's just that it's different.
It's different. Disney music defined my childhood. I love Disney movies and I love Star Wars, but they need to stay separate.
Like Marvel and Disney are kind of. I mean, they are. I mean, we all can feel the Marvel vibe of the films, but you don't get necessarily a Disney vibe from them. I mean, it's still very Marvel. You still have this. There's a Marvel essence to them, so we don't feel like it's it's a Disney movie or anything.
One thing that, in my opinion, that feels very Marvel is a lot of the digital effects being prominent on main characters. Iron Man and his suit, the Hulk. There's main characters, a lot of digital effects in old Star Wars, and this is where I'm getting at the droids. The droids. We grew up with C-3PO and R2-D2 practical droid effects. Even in Phantom Menace, the wiry C-3PO, I'm pretty sure that's practical effect, because it's not CGI. It looks too good. And now we're getting to the Rogue One droid. What's his name? Dude, I'm K2SO. K2SO, all digital, kind of felt weird in this spot of Han Solo. We're seeing this droid, it's digital, kind of felt weird. That's why I like BB-8.
Yeah. So I mean, I knew that he was CGI, but he felt very real to me. But no, I get what you mean. I get what you mean. They, in order to make him that size, they had to CG. They had to CGI.
And it's good. I loved him as character, and there's no. It looks great with the CGI, but it's one of those things that just like the old Star Wars, all the droids in old Star Wars were all practical effects.
And that goes to another reason why I still reiterate, I do not think Jabba's going to be in this film, because everybody knows the Jabba puppet.
Yeah.
And you're not going to see him CGI. Everybody hates the CGI version of him in the remade A New Hope and all this stuff. And so to see him brought back in, would it be so great to see him brought back in this Han Solo movie? But anyway,
it's crazy that none of these channels, a couple channels have been yeah, we want to see Boba Fett, or we want to see the Kessel Run, and Darth Vader, but nobody's talked about Jabba.
Yeah.
Nobody said a word. Jabba would be awesome, but
I would love to.
Vader, man, I'll keep it, but I think he's gonna be in it.
I don't think he will. But anyway, you'll find out and tell me. So, anyway, you thought it was funny because he said, I think I have a good feeling about this, or what did he say different than instead of?
Back to that. I have a really good feeling about this.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just it should be because I have a bad feeling about this. It should just be I have a good feeling about this. Yeah.
Anyway, so this Falcon toy looks kind of weird. So are you saying that? It's so much smaller, and they're trying to fit it in a smaller box. I think they're just working on. In my personal opinion, it looks like a tiny Falcon. This toy that's out, and I'll edit a photo into it. But it's kind of a funny version of this of a Falcon, but
the middle piece.
Yeah, that has a middle piece, kind of
the
escape pod.
Picture of it. It's the middle piece. I had a ton of Star Wars toys growing up. The Star Wars toys always aligned with the movies, and
does this look weird to you? Does it look weird to you? It looks weird
does
to me.
look weird, but I think we're gonna see the Falcon. Han gets it as a brand new ship, and he just beats it up. And two, we see in the figurine or the figure, we see Kessel barrels. I really think we're gonna see the Kessel Run.
I think this cheap. Anyway, this toy is a cheap version of the actual Falcon. I I mean, I had the original Falcon,
OG
and it was this
Falcon
giant
toy.
thing, and
Yeah.
I just love that thing. But anyway, it is kind of weird. So, on top of all that, we're just gonna move on to episode 9. So, so many people, of course, because of the derailment of the story and all these changes of the story, everything being thrown out the window, etc. We've, so many people have distrust in Lucasfilm and all these things. I don't think we're gonna have a Luke Force Ghost in there, even though, of course, Ethan Van Sciver was talking today about I was just watching one of his videos, just talking about just like let him leave, let Luke just let Mark just get rid of it. I personally, allow me to submit to you, I would love to hire Mark Hamill to do something else, to do a different science fiction fantasy film. It doesn't have to be fantasy, but just a cool science fiction film where he gets to have a really cool role. There was he has something else coming out right now about there where he's playing the father of someone in Wall Street that's kind of a hotshot in Wall Street, and I guess it's a true story and everything, but the film looks awful. It's horribly written. At least that's the way it looks to me. I saw a clip of it. It doesn't look good. It's like Mark Hamill deserves better. He deserves better material. So allow me to please submit that to you. I want to hire Mark Hamill to make a movie about where he gets to be a really awesome character. So subscribe to the channel. Maybe we might be able to hire him for something in the next 5 or whatever years that we have this channel going, so I can actually get the money to fund that. Just a quick thought on the side note. But anyway, in accordance with episode 9, Yoda's returning apparently, and that's confirmed. I guess that's great.
Where?
That has been confirmed. Yeah, it's been confirmed.
Who? Where? What? You don't have to find it right now, but what? It was
New York Daily News.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
So he is. I mean, well, they've been talking about this for what? But it's been about a week or so. But they've been talking about just how, apparently he's going to validate Rey, like, tell her what a success of a Jedi she is, all these things. But it's kind of a funny thing because, Yoda was always so critical of both Anakin and Luke, critical of their journey and what how they would work on things and stuff like that. So it's kind of a funny thing. But everybody's been saying, so if we bring Yoda in and no Luke, kind of weird,
I wonder if we see Luke and Yoda training Rey. I hope that this validation is just Yoda coming in being like, yeah, you're strong, but you're stupid. Like, I really hope that's because that's pretty much what happened with Luke when he shows up at Dagobah and he's testing him and mine. All right, well, I hope you not. Hitting R2 with his stick, taking his fish sticks, being an annoying little green rat. Like, not a rat, but you know what I mean. Whatever Yoda's creature is. I don't even know if... Yeah, either way. I hope that's the same. Yeah.
So, and so in general, that's just what it is. There's a lot of distrust, and so it'll be interesting to see really what happens with Han Solo and with the episode 9. I'm really curious to see what the opening numbers are. There are a lot of people who are saying they're going to boycott, but anyway, interesting stuff. Seeing the Jedi Academy, that would be a cool thing to see. Although Rey being the leader of the Jedi Academy, I don't know. I don't know. We don't need to.
No, I don't know if we would see her as like a leader of like a traditional Jedi Academy. If anything, the Last Jedi, and it'll be like Grey Jedi or like a mixture moving forward. She dipped into the dark side and then she went to the light. I don't know. Well,
it will be very interesting to see how JJ stitches this whole thing up together, because it feels like it's like the guts of Star Wars have been like stripped open. It's like the Tauntaun guts, like just and JJ's
there's there's like a Saturday Night Live skit or whatever of like that. I forgot his name, but he does such a good Tauntaun impression.
That's what we need. That's what we need to do, is make a short film of a Tauntaun. And all the Star Wars movies just falling out of its guts, and and then JJ, someone
or Ryan Johnson cutting it open,
and then JJ going to pick it up. So, Anyway, that's just kind of a funny thing, but it would be interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see where he goes from here, because according to Simon Pegg, what Simon Pegg was saying, he was saying that JJ did have a specific idea for Rey's lineage. He did originally. That's what Simon Pegg was saying. So, I mean, he did have an idea, and Simon Pegg, I would love to talk to this guy about what he thinks about what things are going and everything. It'd be really interesting to see. But I'm just really curious to see how he stitches that up, because there was supposed to be a lineage, and I'm sure that's what will happen now. She just won't be related to anybody, but. Well, maybe JJ will make her related. I don't know. Who cares? The point is that it'll be interesting to see what direction JJ actually takes this now, because of this kill the past, kill this, kill that, get rid of everything else, and now JJ's gonna try to bring things back to there, or is he just gonna be like, okay, Rey's learning from Yoda now, and Yoda's telling her to basically end everything, or end the Jedi, end this. I don't know. It's bizarre to think about. All the different directions this thing could go, and it's odd.
We're still a long ways out, though. We still got a long ways to go. So we'll see. I have hope in my young apprentice, JJ.
It will be interesting to see what he has to what he's gonna do. Some people were talking about, since little segue here, Jedi Council, Christian and the guys there, people over there were talking tonight about. Carrie Fisher coming back and everything. Of course, there are three things that they could handle. How they could handle this, of course: recast, acknowledge that she's just, acknowledging her past by having a funeral, or just saying that she's somewhere else. I doubt that they'll have her just be somewhere else in the galaxy. That's kind of ridiculous. They'll probably, my personal opinion, I think that they're just going to have her, just be in the crawl, and that's it. I do not, and they were. Jedi Council was saying they could even open the film with a funeral, but it's like, so they're gonna dishonor Han Solo by not having a funeral for him. They're gonna dishonor Luke by not having a funeral for him, but they'll honor Carrie Fisher. That might be a little strange. Maybe they'll have a funeral for all three of them. That might be a great way to actually say, please, fans, forgive us. I don't know. It would be interesting to see that, like, kind of a memorial for all three of the last. Of the big three, the big three funeral.
Honestly, if they gave Leia a funeral in the beginning of the movie, I wouldn't even be bummed out, because I see it more as it would be great ode to Carrie Fisher. It would be. Well, great. I'm saying if they left out Luke and Han, and if they never get their burial, then that's okay. Like I feel like it's more of like a respect thing to Carrie Fisher. It's like we see you off.
Yeah.
Like that would be yeah.
But at the same time, these films live forever. So these films will be long going after Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill die. So if you were to only, don't get me wrong, like of course I would have loved to have gone to Carrie Fisher's actual funeral, and attending her funeral in this film would be amazing also. But however, when you look at it in retrospect, you look at it, 20 years from now, when Mark and Harrison pass, or whenever they pass, and for them to not be recognized, you know what I mean, in this film, like, because their characters are dead. That's the whole point that I'm trying to make here. It would be rather interesting to see. Probably won't get any of that.
Be interesting to, like, in the far future, with a whole new generation of fans, letting them watch it. The ones who aren't attached to the original trilogy, it'd be interesting to let them watch it through, and I guarantee they would all think like Luke was still done dirty. They would still think that, plain and simple.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. It would be interesting to see maybe someone who's 20 in 20 years from now.
Yeah.
What they think about it. What they think about it. Have them. It would be an amazing test to see what stands up the test of time and everything.
Stick with this YouTube station. 20 years. You heard it here.
Yeah, definitely. So, that being all that stuff being said, Alex, what do you think? I personally, if Carrie Fisher was still alive it would have been amazing to see her. Someone was talking about this online, having her have a breathing apparatus because of what she went through with this whole thing. With this whole thing of her getting thrown into space and everything, and having her like actual lungs and stuff being depleted, like have her have to wear like a breathing apparatus just like Vader did. Wouldn't that be an incredible thing if Carrie was still alive?
That would be so cool.
That would be unbelievable.
Man, Leia would. That would be rad.
That would be very cool.
That would be
like it,
yeah.
And then having like the awkwardness of her walking into a room and have people go, be reminded of Vader because of the book Bloodline. That's the book that takes place 5 years before TFA, before The Force Awakens, and they're talking about her. Well, everybody finds out in a weird. It's just in a weird way. If you've read that book, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, everybody finds out in a weird way that she was related to Darth Vader, and so and everybody turns against her, and that's why nobody showed up. In my opinion, that's why people didn't show up at Crate. So, anyway. It would just be an awkward situation because she'd be walking into the room and it's like, oh, look, it's Lady Vader, as they called her in the Legends.
You know what's interesting, though, on a kind of a side note that really, up until recently, really, really bugged me about the Mary Poppins scene is a side note, for actual science, I really thought if you were exposed to the vacuum of space, you will instantly die or freeze. If you go to... Because Science, his YouTube channel, huge. I love him. Watch him all the time. He explains you indeed can survive the vacuum of space. So the scene with Leia is totally plausible, which to me, I don't know. Just as like, I'm into science fiction, but there also has to be like a level of reality. But everyone else got blown up and she was floating there. So I don't know. But still, it kind of, to me, just... If it helps you guys, helped me.
Yeah, it would be. It is an interesting thing. I mean, I think the biggest issue that people have with it is that she, really died, and so for her to live on after that, and I think that was the biggest thing is that Carrie Fisher passed. So it's like her character probably could have died at that point. So, and that's fine. I mean, we all wanted to see Leia use the Force, so I guess we got that for whatever that's worth. But yeah, that would have been really cool to see. They actually did call her Lady Vader in the they didn't. They actually didn't call her in that. That was actually in the Thrawn trilogy. They called her Lady Vader.
Oh.
Because there was a group of beings who basically worshipped her because they worshipped Vader because Vader and the Emperor had kind of taken over this planet, and so they kind of worshipped Vader at that time, and so they found out that she was related to him, so they call her Lady Vader. Anyway, it's kind of a funny thing. Interesting to see. I guess that's all we had today, but of course, and Victoria Mahoney listed as the second unit director right under JJ. That's awesome. Wonderful to see. And do you have any? I guess she worked on Misfits and Redline.
Legally Blonde.
Yeah, she was in Legally Blonde.
Oh, she was in it. Oh,
yeah,
so she didn't direct it?
No.
Oh, okay, okay.
But
for a second, I was looking at it and I was like, directed Legally Blonde.
No.
Directing Star Wars. What? It's a drop.
I don't know. Anyway, what do you guys think? Would you have liked to have seen Carrie Fisher in a breathing apparatus? Yes, I would have. That would have been really cool, and she would have loved it. Carrie Fisher would have loved that. She would have loved the hell out of that thing.
Yeah.
She would have. I mean, it would have been hilarious to see her like joke around with that on set. She would have been anyway.
Bloopers.
We love her, and we all love you guys out there. So, do you have something?
Yeah. Thanks for watching, and serious. If there's anything that we can do to improve it, comment below. We appreciate you watching, sticking with us. Some exciting news for the Solo movie. Just a little spoiler. Ben is gonna boycott it. So me and Neil will be seeing it, and Ben will interview us, spoilers included, of the video. So that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
It'll be interesting to see. Yeah, it'll be because once again, this channel, we try to be as open-minded as possible as far as just like allowing all different points of view and maybe even tackling those points of view, like me trying to get these guys to boycott or not trying to, whatever. The point is that we're trying to keep both ends open, and try to keep all that represented, etc. So, what do you guys think they're gonna do with Leia? What do you think they're gonna do with Princess Leia's character? I personally, this is my prediction. Last but not least, is the last thing I wanted to talk about. Yeah. My prediction personally is that JJ will have her in the crawl, and it'll be Carrie Fisher passed and the blah blah blah, and that's all we'll hear about. That's all we'll hear of it. Interesting enough, I mean, they might even show her, show a ship, and like have her voice over, something saying, "Oh, we can't blah blah blah," and have her get blown up or something. Honestly, I think. Someone was saying that the other day, talking about Ethan Van Sciver was talking about it. Artist Comics Pro Secrets was talking about. Wouldn't it have been great to see Han and Chewie go out in a blaze of glory? Like, have the Falcon blown, and that's how Han dies. That would have been amazing. Anyway, yeah, it would have been cool to see that. Like, or even Han and Leia die at the same time. Or anyway, whatever. But what do you guys think is going to happen? But most importantly, what do you think? What's your prediction about what they're going to do with Leia? Like, what do you think initially? How are they going to tackle that story in Episode 9?
I think they might recast her. Only because it's pretty split. Anybody I've talked to about recasting, they're either like totally okay with it because Leia is a character, and eventually there's for reals. Like, we're gonna see her again in a TV series because we've already seen her, and we're gonna see her again, so she will be voiced by another actress. And it's like we're eventually gonna have to get over it. Like, so
you think they'll recast?
Pour salt on the wound, get it cleaned up, and just get it over with.
Yeah.
As far as if I think that's how it should be, I don't know.
What do you think they should do?
I like that funeral idea.
Yeah,
I like the
cool
funeral
thing.
idea a lot.
But I know that this won't happen, but if they're going to do a funeral for all three of them. Seriously.
It would be like reminiscent to the throne room scene at the end of A New Hope, how they all walk in, and it could be like Finn, Poe, and Rey walking into the throne room, but it's their funeral, and then they walk at the end of the aisle, and it's like their graves, and yeah, it could be somber.
You know what would have been even cooler? Not cooler than what you just said. Yeah. I mean, in addition to that, that would be a really cool thing. Imagine if they all had it on Yavin. In that same recreate that. I'm sure that set's probably obliterated by now, but have them on in that same room. That would be amazing in that same room. Yeah. And if they were to rebuild that set and have the funeral in that thing,
that would be. They'd have to like shoehorn that in. They would have to. It would be sweet.
Because Yavin's not toast yet, is it? I mean, Yavin's still there. I mean, in accordance with canon, right?
Correct us if we're wrong, but yeah.
So how would it be? How would that be shoehorned?
Well, unless that it was one of the planets that got blown up by the Starkiller base, because we really don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
It was just Republic planets. So, but I don't know. It just maybe if it opened with it, it could be fine. I don't know. But, dude, I don't even know how Episode 9 is gonna open. Like, yeah, it could open with the funeral, and it'd be totally fine if it opens on Yavin. It's like, and the Rebel Alliance is seething from their defeat. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
It is weird too, because it's like the big three have been diminished in importance throughout this so far, this entire trilogy. So it'd be interesting to see if JJ can grab that back, if he can pull us back in and say yes, like, and that's one way to do it, is to have a Leia and Han and Luke funeral at the beginning of Episode 9. Yeah, bizarre. Honestly, if they don't bring Luke, they bring Yoda in and not Luke, missed opportunity, weirdness. That's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Good?
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, if you're gonna bring Yoda, bring Luke. Like, everybody, we need to see Luke again, just cause, like, come on, like, we're not ending with him being a grumpy old dude, saving everybody, and then I'm out.
Yeah, seriously. Mechanical hand and all. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Mechanical hand drop. He drop. That's the, instead of mic drop. That's the.
Oh.
That's the thing. That's the equivalent of the mic drop there. And even though it didn't happen, and then everybody complains about it. So thanks for joining us. You've been listening to and watching Blasterpiece Theater, and hopefully this was as fun for you as it was for us to talk about Star Wars.
And may the Force be with you.
Always.